What are your eligibility criteria? Where's your sweet spot in terms of the kinds of businesses you want to work with?
So we're totally sector agnostic, but we say that we have 3 points of a triangle. Those three elements is cash flow and affordability. So we're not going to lend to anyone who we feel can't afford it. The second point of the triangle is the security. So what assets are being put up as security and what is the security that we can take. And then the third and most important is the jockey. So we like to meet the jockey. Every client of ours, we will go to do a site visit, spend time with them, really understand them and their vision and their story, and we ultimately back a jockey.
The whole value proposition of alternative funding is that there isn't this huge emphasis on credit necessarily. The credit score isn't the be-all and end-all. It's a part of our decision-making process and it's a large factor. But we look at things like short-term liquidity, solvency, a business's transaction history and how they've traded. Are there different cycles within that specific category from a broad spectrum view and internally in that specific business? My advice when preparing a business funding application is first of all understanding the type of business funding you need. An application for, specialized finance at an investment bank and funding at an alternative lender or somewhere in the middle requires different type of application forms and format. So I think the most important thing is to really understand where you're applying and who you're applying with. Understand the needs of that lender or that lending profile, and then preparing the application around that.
Timing is fundamentally critical. And what I mean by that is don't wait until you're actually now in the red zone and if you don't get this money, it's do or die. Rather do proper planning beforehand. Sit with your accountant, your auditor, your bookkeeper, do planning, and you can see on your cash flow cycle, look, at that point in time, I'm going to need a facility. That shows to the lender that you are doing proper planning, you're coming well in advance. And I know, granted, things happen, but I think as far as possible, do proper planning from a cash flow perspective.
I know that for small businesses, there's a lot of intense type of documentation that can take some time to put together. So, for example, collating all your bank statements, making sure that you're up to date from a tax perspective, filing your financials, getting your CRPC documents. I know that it can be a bit of an administrative process, but I think it is worth it. Even having something like a director's report, management report, where you've put together your financials, I think it goes a long way. At the end of the day, what's so important is your bank statements, your financials, just showing that you're running the company sort of in a responsible way.
If you have a business and you have your management accounts and financial statements prepared by a registered accountant, you're already leagues ahead of a lot of the businesses. And that just makes it easier to be able to understand the business and to take a credit decision.
We do like to understand you as a person, we like to understand you as a business. Our general sort of mantra in the office is that we don't actually have a credit committee. We have something called the solutions committee. And that we try to meet the guys and we try to find a solution that helps the client.
Who's your favorite Springbok?
Obviously the team is my favorite, but if I'd had to go, it'd be Faf de Klerk. The energy is so incredible.
Great answer.